Welcome, I'm Dani Walker, and today on the channel I'm going to be sharing with you every gown that Miss Universe India wore for the past 5 years. This episode is a part of an evening gown series, so if you'd like to see more, I will link that playlist in the description below. And if you really love the episode, I hope that you'll consider subscribing and hitting the notifications bell. I've already covered some other countries in this series, but India was highly requested, and of course that's why I'm bringing this episode to you. So we're going to start out in 2017, and let me say I don't have the best clips of every single gown. It was not easy to find all of the evening gown competitions for the past 5 years. So we kind of have what we have, and I'm not entirely sure that I didn't miss a gown. If I did, just let me know in the comments below. I couldn't find a clip of Miss Universe India 2017 walking in her evening gown, but I did find this clip of her sharing her onstage answer at the final competition. She wore a purple sheer stoned evening gown. At Miss Universe India, it appears that all of the contestants each year wear gowns from the same designer. The nice thing about this is that I feel like that sort of levels the playing field a little bit. And the other thing is that the evening gown designers from year to year do feature very, very different styles. So it's not like we're seeing the same gowns year after year. But in 2017, I thought that the 3 winners looked really, really beautiful all together on stage in the gown styles because they're a part of a collection. So it was just this really pretty crowning moment. In 2017 at Miss Universe, India wore a beautiful white evening gown. Now, somebody has mentioned in another episode that this is the same evening gown designer that dressed Iris when she judged for Miss Diva, which is essentially the national pageant. So I'm a fan of this designer. I think that the white looked perfect on her, and I will say I think she looked even better at Miss Universe than she had already looked at her national competition. I liked that we saw her grow and just hit that next level, and she was really, really beautiful here. Unfortunately, India did not place at Miss Universe in 2017, so I'm not sure if she had a different option for her finals evening gown. In 2018 at the national pageant, Miss Universe India wore a very bronzy looking evening gown with her hair styled up. So this gown, it strikes me as something interesting because take a look at right here. Here's her national title. Now, look at when she went to Miss Universe. She wore a very similar evening gown. I would assume that this is possibly from the same designer. It just had some slightly different changes to the neckline, the bodice of the gown. So I haven't seen this happen that often at Miss Universe, where the gowns are so similar that you could almost really mistake the two, in my opinion. At a first glance, I thought, oh, did she wear the same evening gown? No, she didn't. There are some subtle differences. So I still put this gown, actually, her Miss Universe gown, in another episode that I've done because it was one of my favorites. I think that it was very, very beautiful on stage at Miss Universe, and I thought it was a great choice. I totally get why she would want to wear something similar. In 2019, I'm not exactly sure what happened. I was looking online like crazy for the competition, and I couldn't find anything, and then I found this crowning video. So it appears to me that in 2019 they appointed a title holder for Miss Universe India, and I'm not sure of the reason behind that. If you know more, please share about that. So the evening gown that she wore, I don't know about it. I don't know if this is just something that was sponsored for her. I don't know if she was required to wear it or whether she had a choice in this, because like I said, in years past, it seems like the contestants are all dressed by the same designer, or at least a similar designer. So this was an off-white type of cream style of evening gown. Then she wore this sort of wrap or shawl around her. I believe that because I think this was appointed, that's why she was able to wear a style like this, because we really don't see contestants anymore, especially for a crowning, wearing some sort of wrap or shawl for your crowning moment. So it was a very different look that, like I said, I think is only possible through an appointment. If you need help preparing for your next pageant competition, I would love to help you do that. Check out my free pageant prep course that's linked in the description. In 2019 at Miss Universe, India wore a very different evening gown than what we saw her get crowned in. So she wore red, which I think was a good color on her. But for me, the design details on the sleeves really distracted me and I felt took away from the gown. I'll mention that the bottom of this looks like there's some feathers on the bottom, so that was really, really beautiful. I just would have preferred a different sort of applique or pattern for the sleeve. She also went with this I would say very voluminous 90s sort of updo, and it was a look that we don't see a lot of at Miss Universe. She, to me though, was absolutely stunning this year. It really didn't surprise me that she made the top 20, but I was disappointed not to see her in that top 10 because I don't know if she had a different evening gown for finals, and I would love to have seen it. In 2020, I found several clips, and I'm just gonna show you a few of them because I wasn't exactly sure if this was an official preliminary competition or if it was just a part of the competition or a fashion show that the contestants were doing, because to me it kind of felt like a fashion show. So Adeline wore a green evening gown, almost like an olive green gown, very simple, and she wore it for this event. But like I said, I wasn't positive if that was actually a judged competition. Now for finals though, I've mentioned before that the contestants wear gowns of a similar designer, if not the same designer, and Adeline wore a really, really, really beautiful black evening gown. And it was interesting to me that they decided to put the contestants in black because the staging was quite dark, and I felt like it's really hard to wear that dark evening gown with such dark staging because you can kind of disappear. But her gown was really pretty. It was adorned in a lot of stones and beading, and the neckline of it with that crisscross pattern reminded me of Miss Universe 2018 at her national title. So it was just kind of like this style that we've now seen a little bit. But it was a really beautiful gown, and I thought that when I looked at all the options that the contestants had, that she had one of my favorite gowns that year. In 2020 at Miss Universe, I was thrilled to see her in this metallic two-tone evening gown that went from gold to a sort of white. This gown was perfect for Miss Universe, and I can remember saying that I thought that India's styling and wardrobe could be improved for future years and that they should just go with something silver, metallic, something simple that we know works and does really well at Miss Universe. And so I was just cheering when I saw simple hair down and waved and pulled to the side and a metallic gown. And I talked about that in the recaps. And for me, she had already been one of my top picks, and so it wasn't a surprise to see her move on to finals. She did wear this gown for finals, and I had no problem with that. It was a great gown choice for prelims and finals. It definitely shined on stage, and I was very happy to see her advance into the top 5. Make sure to leave a comment for this video to let me know who wore your favorite evening gown, and remember, let's always be mindful of our words and choose kindness. In 2021, I found this clip of Harnaz during what I believe was the preliminary competition for Miss Diva. And this gown was lovely on her, and here we're seeing again a lot of consistency. So all the contestants were wearing these really beautiful pastel shades, and also they were in these, most of the time, these flowing chiffon fabrics, which looked lovely on stage. I really enjoyed the overall look for the contestants. But so here she's wearing this green color. It's kind of interesting to see. And when I'm doing all these episodes, that there have been quite a few recent Miss Universe winners that at some point in their journey, whether it's at their national competition or it's at Miss Universe, that they end up in green for something. They haven't been crowned in it, but they wear it for competition. So it's kind of this interesting, I would just say, coincidence. Then for finals, all of the contestants were dressed in red evening gowns, and I don't have great footage of this evening gown, unfortunately, but there are some clips of her speaking, and you can see a photo shoot of her that's projected on the side of the stage, and I feel like that really showcased the gown better than what I could see from the actual show. So just pay attention to that part of the screen so you can see that little portion of how that gown really looked on her. But red's a great color, it's a powerful color, and I think it's something that really anyone could wear. For the preliminary gown competition at Miss Universe, she went with this kind of mauve pink sheer evening gown, lots of details. Once again, I was very happy. I just thought this is easily a gown that you can wear to Miss Universe. When I saw it, I just thought that's a no-brainer, but she was so on. I think that the type of eye contact that she had and was making in those facials, the closest queen I could describe to her performance in terms of facials would be Demi. I felt like Demi had that, just that look in her eyes, like I'm coming for the crown, and you could see that here with her, or at least that's what I could see from the telecast. For finals, I welcomed the change for the evening gown. Prelims was great, but the final gown is perfect. for that crowning moment. And she does this little turn, this pivot, this over-the-shoulder look, and you could really appreciate the structure of the gown, or at least I could, because you could see that there was actually some sort of boning placed into the back of it, giving it more structure, and it had some sheer panels in the back that you can't see in the front because there aren't ones in the front. Then the thing that I liked about the gown, which I've talked about in other episodes, was the waterfall beading going down the front of it, because there was a similar gown style that was used at Miss Universe in 2018, but that evening gown did not have any of the waterfall beading. So I think the addition of the waterfall beading on a very similar style translates so well on stage. It's just that little extra bit that kind of puts it over the top. And so for that reason, I loved this gown. That's it for this episode, but if you want to see a different country featured for this series, make sure to leave a comment below to let me know. And if you want to see other episodes like this one, then check out my 2 latest ones featuring Thailand and South Africa. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll return for the next episode.